Hello, Tech Pros, episode 139.
Work hard, but have some fun too. It goes back to what we said in the beginning about entrepreneurism and not working for someone else and doing so that you can work on your passion.
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Tate Hackert. Happy Saturday, Tate.
Happy Saturday to you, Chad.
Man, are you ready to hustle?
Dude, so ready. This is a cool experience.
Awesome. Let's do it. Tate Hackert is the 24-year-old brainchild of ZayZoon.com, a startup looking to upend the payday lending industry. Tate proved himself as an entrepreneurial leader in the grittiest of sorts, lending out $250,000 of his own money between the ages of 16 and 23 on Craigslist. What? Recently, ZayZoon was awarded the Payments Canada FinTech Cup and given an honorary placement in PayPal's FinTech 5. Dude, that's pretty amazing. So you've been doing this for a long time. I gotta ask, where does a 16-year-old get $250,000? You must have mowed a lot of lawns there in Calgary.
Yeah, man. So it's funny because, you know, the answer that, or the question that most people ask is that, and it's, they automatically think that I was involved in some sort of shady business, but no, not at all. So I was actually, I'm not from Calgary originally. So I'm from Vancouver Island, and Vancouver Island is an amazing place, and it also has an amazing fishing industry. So growing up, I was fortunate enough to go out on the fishing boat for months on end. And you know, you go out on a fishing boat for 30 some odd days and you come back as a 16-year-old with 15 or 20K in your pocket.
Wow.
And me being cheap, you know, maybe that has something to do with the entrepreneurial trait as well. But I was able to save and started getting into the lending game that way.
You know, I already am falling in love with this conversation because there's so many relationships between entrepreneurism and fishing, right? I hear that all the time of, you know, look for the big fish, or go where the fish are, or, you know, you be quiet and listen to the market, listen to the fish, you know. So I love the fact that you actually got your capital to start your business from literally from fishing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was again, gritty. Lots of labor intensive work. By no means am I a technology kid or a Silicon Valley person, although I'm starting to move more towards that direction now, but definitely was brought up in that fishing and construction industry, and I think that formed the work ethic to allow me to start a startup, because obviously, you know, it's hard work and it's a mental game just as much as it's a physical game. So it definitely helped with my upbringing that way.
So let's get clarity about your vision or your definition of entrepreneurship. I mean, I have my own, and every guest that I talk to kind of has their own definition of what entrepreneurship means to you. And you said that it's gritty, it's hard work, it requires a ton of work ethic. But what exactly does entrepreneurship mean to you, Tate?
Not wanting to work for someone else.
Awesome.
If I want to be frank, you know, it is. Lots of people say that. Lots of entrepreneurs say that, and it's true. You know, you might end up working more, and you definitely do end up working more, and it ends up consuming your working life as well as your personal life, and your brain capacity at all times. But there's something about being in control of your own destiny, as cliche and cheesy as that may sound. But I guess that's really what entrepreneurship means to me. Just something that allows me to work on my passion.
That's awesome. So tell us about your passion. What is ZayZoon.com?
So ZayZoon is a extremely exciting new way for people to get advancement of pay before their next payday. So we've all heard of payday loans, terrible predatory lenders that charge egregious interest rates. Up here in Canada, the average payday loan is sitting around 600% APR. That translates to $23 per $100 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So ZayZoon charges $3 per $100. We're about 90% cheaper than a payday loan on average up here in Canada. And we do so by way of a unique integration with payroll providers. By integrating with payroll providers, we are able to access an employee base and issue employees advances before their next payday. It's a really unique solution, and it's incredibly easy solution for an employee to use. It sure beats going to a money mart for your pay.
Yeah, if you're in that situation where you're like, gosh, I just need like a couple $100 to get me to the end of the week until I get paid, because whatever, life happens, stuff gets in the way. And if you have to go out, if you've ever had to go to one of these sharks, these loan sharks, these payday loan places, I have had to do it in my personal past, and they just rake you over the coals. And God bless you if you are late on a payment or something like that. It's just going to accrue more and more and more interest. And so the best thing that you can do is stay away from it. But the second best thing is just whatever you need to do, just pay it off as quickly as possible. But that is a transaction with a company, an individual, a whatever behind it, that has nothing to do with your actual organization, your pay, right? That the agreement that I signed, at least, had nothing to do with my employer. It wasn't really a payday loan. It was just a loan to last me until my payday. But it sounds like the organization that you put together, the technology that you put together, actually integrates with your employer. Or with the individual's employer, and allows them to get advanced, not from you guys, but from their actual employer. Did I get that right?
So sort of, Chad. So ZayZoon does advance them the money, but because of our tight integration with that employer and payroll company, it is a lot smoother than that payday loan option that you were talking about before. So a payday loan option is exactly that. It is a loan based on a pay stub and hopes that indeed you are employed and your pay stub isn't fraudulent and all the rest. So ZayZoon has a lot more tighter integration than that, and we do create that more that relationship with the employer. However, it's not the employer's money; it is ZayZoon's money that's being advanced. Okay. I want to take a step back there though to when you were talking about your own experience with payday loans, because I think it's important to point out not a lot of people know this, or if they do know it, the stigma behind payday loans, they don't want to say it. So payday loans are used by about 1 in 10 working people. It's a huge industry, and if you look around the business, if you're listening to this podcast, sitting in your place of employment, 1 in 10 employees there are using a payday loan, and they're doing so 6 to 10 times per year. And it's absolutely ridiculous, but it's a need for cash flow. They're in a cash flow crunch. It has nothing to do with I would argue that it has nothing to do with income as much as it does with the cash flow. So, you can point to statistics like 63% of millennials live paycheck to paycheck. That's a study that was done by the Employee Benefits News magazine. And a payday loan allows them to bridge themselves to that next payday. So ZayZoon is simply an option that isn't a payday loan, but it essentially does the same thing, and it does so in a much easier and a much less egregious way.
Yeah, Tate, thank you for helping us get clarity on that. And yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, in my situation, I was employed. I had a good job. It was many years ago, and I was steadily employed and had a regular paycheck coming in every 2 weeks, and I could count on that. But my cost of living, due to me not being very frugal, meant that every time I got a raise or every time I got a bonus, I spent it, right? And so I kept spending up to the amount that I made, which meant that anytime an emergency happened, like, oh my gosh, we got flat tires and now we got to buy new tires for the car and we hadn't had that in the budget, or there's a medical expense that we weren't counting for and now we need something just for this week until we can, pay it back, we've had to use payday loans. And I think it's very, very common. I actually talked to a friend of a friend who owns a payday loan company in Oklahoma, and he said the same thing. He's like, everybody who comes in, you think, society thinks that it's people that can't hold a job that get it. No, it's doctors, it's lawyers, it's computer programmers, it's people who have jobs that work full time. They just have this cash flow problem.
Yeah, and to that point, Chad, so we see about 20% of our customers being people that make over $100,000 per year.
Wow. 20% of the customers are people that make over $100,000 a year. Yeah. So, cool. So they're coming to you with needs. Do you have statistics on the types of loans that they're taking? Like, is it $100, $1,000, or,
Yeah. So it's closer to that $1,000 range. We're seeing kind of $700 ish.
Okay.
And they're doing it maybe halfway through their pay cycle. Just to again allow them to avoid that overdraft fee or that NSF fee that their bank may charge them. It's a lot nicer to take out a loan with ZayZoon than being hit with a $50 NSF fee. And it may just be that alone, having to make a payment on a nice vehicle that they own, but their cash flow doesn't quite coincide with their vehicle payments.
Yeah, that's a tough position to be in, where you have the money, you have access to the money, but like as Han Solo said, I don't have it with me, right? Give me a break, cut me a break here. So you guys are helping kind of fill that gap. So we have professionals. They're 20% of their customers make over $100,000. They're taking about $700, and they're doing it 6 to 10 times a year. So it seems like every month or every couple of months, kind of need this leg up, this help.
Yeah, and it's by no means is ZayZoon wanting to endorse that reborrowing cycle. So we're actually working right now on a financial literacy component, both at the community level here in Calgary with a couple different organizations, but we're also wanting to do a wider, software integrated financial literacy component to really teach our customers about saving money and even though a ZayZoon option for a cash flow crunch is a great option, you shouldn't need that option in the first place. So we want to ensure our customers can move forward and get out of the need for their pay.
So if you do a really, really good job with this, then you'll put yourself out of business? Is that the hope and goal?
I think the goal would be to maybe transfer those clients into another role.
Nice. Yeah, everybody's got multiple needs, right? So once they get rid of that problem, then there's probably another problem that you can help them with.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that fine balance between obviously making money from lending money, but also being a responsible lender in doing so. Definitely not falling under that predatory payday lending shark landscape. So again, just building out our software and building out our business to emulate that.
Yeah, I like that, because once you, from the entrepreneur side, you're really just serving the needs of a market, and you're helping people solve a problem in their life, right? Whether it's in their career or in their business or in their personal life, you're helping them solve a problem. And if you can help teach people that, there's teach people to fish, right? Go back to the fishing analogy. Teach people to fish rather than serve them a meal, and they can get out of this habit of needing this, then dude, you're going to be the one that they can trust, because everybody else is trying to prey on them, is trying to take their money, is trying to take advantage of their situation. And if you are the one company that they can trust, that they can say, you know what, they serve my needs and they help me in a time of need when I needed to take a loan, but they also help me get out of this situation and build a more sustainable cash flow system in their life or in their business, then they're going to come back to you with more issues and say, you know what, I've got this other challenge now, and maybe it's I need a loan for my business to start a new company, or maybe I need to I'm looking to invest in, I don't know, something or other, and you can be there for those individuals.
Exactly right.
Cool. So tell us about maybe a little bit about the technology behind ZayZoon. So you're integrating with a lot of different payment providers, a lot of different payroll systems. And I've worked with a few of them, and they are vastly disparate on the IT side, on the technology side. You know, everybody seems like there's 3 or 4 like major, like super major pieces of software, but then there's hundreds of other smaller integration modules. So how does ZayZoon integrate on the technology side with some of these other companies?
Yeah, great question. So it's tough. It's costly and timely right now, and that's definitely a hurdle for our business, which is figuring out really how to make a beautiful plug and play model. Because as you had said, right now the disparity between one payroll provider to the other is vast. So there's some really nice cloud payroll providers that are ahead on the technology side of things. They already have an API suite built out. We can plug our APIs into theirs and maybe a couple tweaks and we're good to go. And then on the other side of things is these archaic, old dinosaur payroll companies that are amazing with just the people that they pay and the businesses that they have business with or do business for. But their software doesn't support ours. So really what it looks like for us on an integration side of things with them is a project plan, sell our software to them. We work with their dev team to implement a project plan, a rollout situation where we can go through each necessary API endpoint that we need built. We place a software developer within their side of things to help them with the build out, and then it can take, as an example, one that we've done right now that we just finished. It was a 3-month long process. So compared to another one that we've done, which was a 3-week process. So again, that's that disparity, and really just fine tuning that technology to, I guess, better achieve that plug and play model.
Gotcha. So when you're sending a developer into the companies that have one of these older archaic dinosaur pieces of software that is not cloud ready, it does not have an API. It's more what we call tightly coupled integration, right? Where it was built for a specific instance and everything that's tied to it is very, very tightly coupled to it. And it's not necessarily designed for integrations with lots of other things. So when you send your developers into those situations, are they building the APIs and putting like cloud-based APIs on top of the existing infrastructure that the company already has? Or are they building something that's not really going to the cloud, but it's more of creating another like tightly coupled integration to your system? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So and I guess I should mention that by no means am I a tech guy, Chad. Sure. On the technology side of things. So I'm sure your listeners are picking apart some of this right now, but the basis is we place a dev on their side of things that helps do a tight integration with ours, whether that's cloud based or not.
Gotcha. Awesome. So what has been the growth of ZayZoon? When did you launch, and what has the growth of that system been, or that product been, since the day that you launched?
ZayZoon has been, we've been working on the business for 2 years now, 2.5 years, and a lot of that was spent obviously perfecting the technology, and then just in a beta. So we were doing a 6-month long beta, very manual process. The technology wasn't completely baked yet. I was still underwriting some of the loans on the back end. And we were able to lend out in the tens of thousands of dollars, which was a great measure of our sensitivity models that we presented to investors and what we were actually experiencing in real life. So ZayZoon is now partnered with Payment Evolution, which is a payroll provider out of Toronto, Canada. They do payroll for 12,000, 13,000 businesses-ish and about 250,000 employees. and we're as simple as a tab within their self-service portal that allows an employee, when they're checking their pay stub or checking their vacation pay or their time schedule, they can also access a ZayZoon advance.
So how much money are you going to be lending out to customers this year in 2016?
So this year we'd expect to lend out about $2 million.
Wow.
And again, that's just based on some projections that we have. Hopefully that's not too audacious, and we hope that we can get that.
So Tate, in just a few minutes, I'm going to ask you about the future of ZayZoon specifically, and the future of this whole this lending model, right? Where the whole world seems to be shifting from a one-to-one model to a one-to-many model of cloud sourcing and just all kinds of different options that are out there. But first, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Minio Cloud Storage. Minio is a cloud object storage server for developers and DevOps written in Go. The Go programming language is the emerging language of choice for modern cloud infrastructure projects, and it allows Minio to be highly concurrent and lightweight. Minio is Amazon S3 compatible, built with microstorage architecture in mind, but at its heart, Minio is simple, scalable, and supported by a passionate developer and user community. In episode 89 of Hello Tech Pros, I talked with A.B. Periasamy, one of the founders of Minio, about the importance of community support and recruiting software developers who are as passionate about their product's code as artists are of their art. Check out that episode at hellotechpros.com/89 and check out Minio Cloud Storage at minio.io. That's minio.io. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. Okay, we're back with Tate Hackert, the brainchild and founder of ZayZoon.com, which is a startup that's upending the payday lending industry. And we've been talking to Tate about, first of all, the stigma behind payday loans. It's not a bad, dirty thing for users, for customers to do. That's really, he sees a lot of customers, 20% of the customers make over $100,000 a year, and they're taking, $600, $700, $800 loans 6 times a year, 10 times a year. And it seems to be, this process where, unfortunately, it's people who work hard, they have a good income, but they're just living a means that's not a really good cash flow situation that they're in, and so they get in these cash flow problems. They don't want to write a check that bounces or get bad credit or something like that. So you know what? They're taking this loan, they're paying it back, no problem. They move on. And so what ZayZoon is doing is making it much, much cheaper, right? It's, what'd you say, about $3 fee of $100 loan?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right, Chad. So $3 per 100, where it's a typical payday loan up here in Canada anyways is about $23 per $100.
Man, yeah. So much, much cheaper to operate in, much cheaper to help people out, much cheaper for people to get the help that they need. But Tate, we look at this model, this payday loan model, and it's evolving quickly, right? So there are a number of options out there today where I can crowdsource my funding, right? I can go out and say, hey, I need $500, and I could have 500 different people each give me $1, and then instead of owing one person, I owe kind of 500 different people this money. So there's that crowdsourcing option, and then you've got a company like yours that is more of the traditional, right, lending service, but just maybe a little bit more financially responsible, cheaper service because of the integrations with the employers. So where do you see this industry going as we look ahead 5 years, 10 years from now? What do you think is in the future for us?
Yeah, Chad, great question. You're right on the peer-to-peer lending side of things. That's obviously a great platform and it's proved to have a ton of customers on platforms such as Prosper and Lending Club. Again, it's more, I would say, for the longer term loan options and the bigger loan amounts. ZayZoon's really focusing on that small dollar, short-term credit space. And really, we want to provide employees with their pay before payday. We want to provide them with a way to access the hours they've worked, in essence, before they actually get paid. And all that's doing is we're taking the administrative hurdle off of the business and off of the payroll company. Most people are getting paid bi-weekly, maybe every month. And that's just due to a couple things, which is administrative costs and also cash flow costs for a business. So if, I'm sure many of your listeners have managed a business of their own, and cash flow is the most important thing. So if they have to pay their employees out each and every week while they're still waiting to get paid on invoices that they've given, it's not going to be a very nice thing for the business. So really, we're taking away that administrative hurdle and giving an amazing benefit to the employee at the same time. We really see it evolving to a daily pay system. There's some great companies already doing this, both in Canada and the United States, and we're all getting some amazing publicity around it. And we really just want to continue that and take as much business away from those payday lenders as possible and give the employee a more responsible borrowing solution and a way to access their pay before payday.
So you mentioned that, there may be a lot of listeners out there who are entrepreneurs themselves. They're starting up their businesses. They're starting small. They're trying to bootstrap it. They're trying to do their own thing. Have you thought about moving your company or augmenting your company into that B2B space where you're actually helping businesses with some of the same type of problems? And I'll give you one example of, I've got a friend that lives here right down the street, and he was over at the house the other day, and I was having a discussion with him. Hey man, how's your business going? He owns a cake, a bakery supply company, right? So think of, he sends out all the fondant to all the bakeries, right? He sends out all of the tools for cutting and stuff like that. But it's still a small business, right? He's only got a handful of employees, and the amount, the number of customers that he has means that he's still in this growing mode of trying to grow his business and so forth. And so his business is in this cash flow problem where his customers order stuff, and when he puts in an order to the distributor or to the manufacturer, right, he's got to kind of get it in bulk, but then store it and wait for the customers to come in. So he's constantly like reordering inventory, and he wants to, every time he reorders inventory, increase the amount of inventory he's getting. But sometimes he can't do that because just the way that the invoice cycles work, the invoice cycles to his customers versus the invoice cycles to the manufacturers and the distributors that he's getting the product from. So are you looking to kind of expand into this space so you can help other businesses with the same sort of problem?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So the factoring space or the bridging a small business space is a massive industry. It's something we would absolutely love to get into. And obviously our relationship with the payroll provider and the employers give us a great ability to do so. We're not, it's not necessarily our core competency at the moment. All our brain power really is being focused on the consumer space. And again, it's about, using a rifle instead of a shotgun. We want to be absolutely laser focused on our mission right now. Being a startup, I think that's really important. So I would say absolutely that's something that we have on our radar for the future, but right now we're not doing a whole lot to move in that direction.
Cool. That makes complete sense. Focus on the thing you want to get really, really good at before you branch out into another area. Don't dilute yourself. Don't dilute your business by trying to focus on too many things. I think that's a good lesson that we can learn here. Speaking of good lessons, Tate, do you have any final words of wisdom for our audience? And then the best way that we can connect with you, then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, just work hard, but have some fun too. I think it goes back to what we said in the beginning about entrepreneurism and not working for someone else and doing so that you can work on your passion. Each and every day working on the business is something that I enjoy, and I can work my, play schedule, if you want to call it that, around my business as well. It's an amazing opportunity, and I think I would encourage everyone, if you have an entrepreneurial pursuit that you want to go after, do it. It's fun. It's hard work. You will probably have less free time than you currently have, but your work time will feel like free time. If anyone wants to chat further, you can find me on Twitter. It's at Tate Hackert. You can find me on LinkedIn at Tate Hackert, and ZayZoon is at ZayZoon Transfer on Twitter and on Facebook.
And of course, ZayZoon.com, where you can find out information on how to take a loan if you need it. Tate, thank you so much for joining me on Hello Tech Pros today. I really value your startup story and your honesty about, hey man, you started this fishing, and really just the integrity that you've shown here about wanting to help people and not put them into more and more debt and get them deeper and deeper into economic crisis, economic problems for individuals, for families, but to really kind of help them through the times that they have when they have them.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chad. That was a good conversation. I always love talking lending, and yeah, be sure to check out the ZayZoon site and throw your email in on the ZayZoon list as well. Stay up to date with all the ZayZoon goodies, and we never spam. Don't worry.
Awesome. And Tech Pros, man, if you're in the situation where you're living paycheck to paycheck, don't think that there's something wrong with you, like you feel dirty or you feel ashamed. It's a common problem. This cash flow problem is very, very common. Lots of people have it. Like Tate was saying, 1 in 10 people. I've struggled with it in the past. And I think Tate is hit the nail on the head when he said, you know what, it's not an income problem, it's a cash flow problem. So really take a look at your priorities. And this is going back to your personal accounts as well as your business accounts. Take a look at the priorities and what are the things that are absolutely critical for your life or for your business that you have to have, and whether those extraneous things that are not adding that much value, but they're costing, right? And they're diluting or taking away from your ability to have a good cash flow, and take those things out. We this month just cut cable. I mean, we've been talking about it for years and years, but we finally did. We've got Netflix.
Netflix time, love it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what are the things in your life or in your business that you can cut out $100 a month, $60 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is, to help you grow in life and grow in business? Man, I got to get off my soapbox. All right, I'm stepping down off my soapbox. You've been listening to Tate Hackert, and I'm Chad Bostic. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/139. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Entrepreneurship Saturday, but tomorrow my featured guest and I will not be talking about work because it's Sunday being unplugged. On Monday, we'll get motivated once again to face the week with Motivation Monday, followed by Tuesday, productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people communication, and Saturday, back to our entrepreneurship. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.